Colt got his.
Okay, we're live now.
We're live? Okay.
And now...
Ricky, tell them we're sorry.
Hi, guys.
Sorry.
A little late start tonight.
Here, we got hand sanitizer.
I still haven't got. Oh, there it is. Woo! Oh, there it goes.
Is it on? Where's mine?
This episode provides.
So when I get
sanitizer.
Think smart, sanitize. Oh, look at Randy's getting all lubed up for the show.
Sanitize.
Okay. Are we on?
We
on.
We all getting lubed up for the show here. Oh, that burns. On some cuts. Watch it face.
Oh my god, are you kidding? You're gonna bathe in it.
I took my shower for the week.
Oh my god.
Sanitize. Good to go. Just nobody light a cigarette. Okay, let's go. You know, we're late enough. Can you turn it down just a little bit? We need to watch it. We can watch it later. We gotta make it first. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10 of nprc Talk here in the 707, brought to you by 707 Streetcars right here in Northern California. We have a pretty decent show for you tonight. We have a big show next week, and we'll get into that in a minute. So, sorry about being late. We were just having a good time. We were eating pizza, and then we started talking about cars. You know, guys are when they start talking about cars. So,
Don't shut
taking
up.
showers.
I need to turn all these down and taking showers. Let me just turn everything down. Which means if you try and text me, message me, I'm probably not going to get it because it'll be turned down. Okay, so right off the bat, I would like to introduce once again, especially for anybody that's new tuning in for the first time, my co-host Randy Vieira and my other co-host Ricky Bellotti.
Good job, Emma.
It's not working, damn it.
That's because I turned it off. You said you're all out. My ears hurt.
Oh my god.
Okay, so first off, I would just like to acknowledge that thank you guys. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. 640 members in a week and a half. 640 members. We're just it's just outstanding. So I think that's pretty awesome. 640 members. Right off the bat, I want to start the show once again by saying God bless America and God bless the men and women in law enforcement and fire and everybody on the front lines that's helping with the COVID-19. I personally think that a lot of this is going to pass in the next couple weeks. I don't want to get into my opinions or anything on it. I just want to say that we are clean. Me and him are a little close together here as far as 6 feet go, but we best friends. We talk to each other all day long every day, and I know where these guys have been and they know where I've been, and we're good. So with that being said, I want to talk about YouTube really quick. We had started our YouTube page a couple weeks ago. Randy got it all put together. He did a great job. Thank you, Randy. And enthusiasm there, Ricky, is just shining.
You took it away.
What I told everybody was episode 10, which is a really big episode. I mean, for me it is, and that's kind of a milestone. That's your first little baby step down the path of a show that, has been on for 2 or 3 years, and it's got, 70 shows or whatever. You hit 100 shows, is you got to get to 10. So 10 to me was kind of just, we're out of single digits, and I think we've helped a lot of people along the way. And what I had mentioned in a post briefly, which we were going to really get into this week and hammer down on it, was this is going to be our last go-round going live from the Sonoma County nprc page that we were going to go stream live from YouTube. And unfortunately, that's not going to work out. We didn't know that we had to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers to actually earn the right to go live on YouTube. And it's only been on YouTube for a week, so we have, I think we're up to 70 or 80 subscribers or something like that. So please, guys, if you know who we are, you like what we're doing, even if you don't listen to us and you're a veteran RC guy, please go over to our YouTube channel. It is Streetcars, one word, of the 707, one word. So Streetcars of the 707. and like our subscribe to our page, please. We want to get this above. There's a lot of benefits that come going through YouTube for us and for you, and it's a much better platform. So not that we haven't had good luck and that we, will always remember where I came from was Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So please go to our Facebook, or our YouTube page and subscribe to it. Tell a friend. Go to the track. Tell people. That would be great. That's how you guys can give back to us. I want to do some shout outs, and I'm going to try a different format this time. I want to give my shout outs, and at the end I'll say a little something, but as far as the video, we want to really get back into tech, and some stuff's changing and stuff's going on, and we're all eager to race, and we're all got the itchy finger, and that's why we run in boats and 8-scale buggies and stuff in our spare time, because nobody's racing these, and we do run these in our off time a lot. So before I get the shouts out, the first shout out, I'd like to spin the camera around and show what 707 Streetcars is getting ready to offer. I've got this up and running. It's 99.9% built. I'm just dialing in the software. This thing will be live data, and there's just so many different things that I can do with this. And a lot of that is just going to be like a cool feature, but a lot of it is I'll be able to translate into what I already know or my other testing methods and come up with even more data that I was never being able to before. And for that, I want to give a big shout out to Robert with RC Tags. Robert makes some pretty cool stuff. Robert Knighton, and he's a guy that came to me about 2 weeks ago because I asked him some questions about a dyno that they saw or that I saw on the internet, and some of it I was like, okay, that's not really useful to me, but some of it I'm like, wow, that's really cool that you got that. So he did a great job with the build, and I reached out to him and I said, hey, so I know how to build the dyno. I'm not worried about that. That's the easy part. But it was the software. It was how to make it run and what the componentry that I needed to put it together. And the guy just really opened his book and sent me pictures and has spent a couple hours on the phone with me and getting this thing that I've built. So this was a piece of straight C-channel aluminum that I cut up and welded together. And I bought a ball bearing high dollar rolling pin and it put a deck on it and some chains and did all the geometry on putting the car down. And then he's just helped me every step of the way getting this thing together, and what we're going to be able to offer doing this for people in dynoing cars and having dyno sessions is really going to help them not only achieve having a faster race car, which is what we all want, right? But is also going to be able to further explain some of the stuff that we do to the cars and how it works, and to know your own car. So that's where we're going out with this. So big shout out to Robert Knighton. He's the owner and operator of RC Tags. If you want to spin the camera back around there, Jamie. Thank you, Jamie, again for putting up with us. So aside from this guy was so nice. He reached out to me and goes, you guys need a logo for 707 Streetcars. And within 15 minutes, he had 6 of them. He just sat there and made them. And I was like, wow, that was really nice. That's the kind of, every now and then, I don't do something to get something back, because then you're not helping somebody, you're making a deal, you know what I'm saying, whether it's spoken or not. And that's not why I help people. I don't expect anything in return. But for somebody to have the same kind of moral fiber and help a fellow veteran RC car out and to build something like this, I mean, it's second to none. It's the kind of dude we like to hang out with, So aside from that, he owns RC Tags. If you guys,
KV Kings.
They're with KV Kings up in Washington, and it's rctags.com. So if you do any kind of scalar stuff, this was one that I had made for my daughter's car. It says Judd 1. I also have one up there on the back of the drifter car that says 10851 PC, which is the California Penal Code for stolen car. And these license plate are exact replicas of license plate. They're made of a fiberboard, and he can make bigger, smaller. He does custom graphics. He does custom stuff as far as like the computer stuff with the Facebook pages, the background pictures and stuff that's cut and pasted, but like done really right, So if you guys want to get over to rctags.com or KV Kings, get a hold of Robert Knighton. He will make custom decals He does all kinds of stuff. I'd also like to give another shout out to another guy that has done a lot of decals for me, Ted Green of Absolute Customs, Body and Collision and Hot Rods up in Rohnert Park. He makes a lot of vinyl for me. I used to weld for him years ago, and he's just a really good dude. So if you guys, you get a fender bender, go up and talk to Ted, and he'll get you in and out in the car looking great. So thank you, Ted, for all the vinyl you've made. For me, I want to get into my regular shout-outs really quick. Paul Peterson, Shark RC Bodies. The bodies, he can't keep up right now. He's making them as fast as they can. They're already starting to go out. We don't want to get into that tonight. I want to give him a shout out and the recognition because he is one of our sponsors, and we fully stand behind this product that we're about ready to launch. And even if you're on the fence about some of the stuff we've talked about and showed you guys with the bodies, the proof's going to be in the pudding. Once these things are completely shaved down and drilled out and mounted and sucked down and you know, everything's done and said, and we've scaled the cars and everything, you guys are going to see why we wanted to go with these bodies. So big shout out to Paul Peterson with Shark RC Bodies. I literally went on today and just typed in on Google. I like to do that with my sponsors, see how easy it is, and wrote Shark RC Bodies, and boom, he pops up. His name's Paul Peterson. You can reach out to him. You can reach out to him through Facebook. Shark RC Bodies also has a Facebook page, and they also do a lot of dirt oval. So if you guys, you know, run the Chili Bowl, you like to run dirt oval, he's got all kinds of the just most cutting edge dirt modifieds, late models, stuff like that. So Paul Peterson at Shark RC Bodies. The next is Milo Carvalho at Flash Packs. This is a kid that turned us on through Randy, and we tested his product. We liked it. We brought him on, and we're running his stuff now. If you don't have a Flash Pack, get one. Troy Schroeder with Phantom RC, batteries, motors, all kinds of different stuff, apparel, power supplies. I mean, just anything you could want, you could get it from Phantom, and it's really top-notch stuff. That's why we run it. So big shout out to Troy Schroeder with Phantom. Next one is Steve Negri with RC RI, which is RC Racing Innovations. They make all our chassis. This is my car right here, the Gunslinger, and this is one of the RC RI chassis that just hands down freaking works. So go if you're looking to build another car, you want to update your existing car, get rid of the wheelbarrow chassis, then go over and talk to Steve Negri of RCRI. Next one is Jake Rosen, and everybody at Jake's, Hunter and Tim, and all the guys that have been, you know, helping people with curbside delivery, even though I'm still waiting for my parts. I know you guys can't help it. Okay, it's not you. Damn COVID. But Jake is still open doing curbside delivery Monday through Saturday, 10 to 1. You can call 707-586-3375. He's in Rohnert Park, California, and he ships nationwide. He doesn't ship international. So I've been talking to guys as far away as New Zealand and Canada about the stuff that we do, and some getting them some of our parts from our companies. But big shout out to Jake. Jake, thanks for staying open and supporting the hobby the way you do. We got a great hobby shop, and we're really blessed to have it. So, first thing I want to say is kind of personal. Everybody knows that why I do this by now, by episode 10. Everybody knows that I love doing this. However, some of the stuff is getting a little overwhelming. I go to bed at 10 o'clock at night to get up at 5:30, and I wake up, and if my phone doesn't start going off at 2 a.m. like crazy, I wake up to 30 messages, and that's okay. If you guys have a question, you want to get it across, but if in the near future you contact me to ask a question, don't take any offense for me to saying, hey dude, it's in episode 4, please go watch it. That's the only way I can do this. I feel like Jim Carrey in Heaven Almighty with the computer, and oh my God, just say yes to all, because it's so overwhelming. And I if there is somebody out there watching or they hear about this, contact me. But I don't think that there's one person through the 6 different countries and the thousands of people that we're helping out right now, constantly every day. Me, Ricky, Randy, we're constantly helping people and do whatever we got to do, to whether it's taking a picture or measuring something or giving them advice on their car or hooking them up with the right company. There's nothing we don't do. to help people, but you know, if it's in our videos, I'm gonna have to direct you that way because I got to do something. I don't know if I haven't said this before. I work a full-time job. I'm a state employee. Work for Novato PD, and I work anywhere from 45 to 60 hours a week. And I'm a single dad with 2 kids, and it's just, and this too, I love it, but it's getting overwhelming. So please, guys, you know, I'm in Pacific time in California. Keep it from 6 in the morning till 9:30 or 10 at night, 7 days a week. I'll give you that. But you know, as far as some of the messages that come in at 2 a.m. and stuff, I can't do it anymore. So I'm still here to help everybody. I want to continue to help everybody. But people also, you know, it's nobody in particular. It's just, and I get it. You know, everybody wants their car fixed and they want to figure out the fast secrets, and I want to give them to you. But I also got to live a life too. So. Don't get upset if I say please go watch video 7. You know what I'm saying? And we went over that actually. It's in 5. And you know, you might have to, if you want to watch the whole thing, skip around and find it, but you will find it. And I think that speaks for all of us. I think Randy, I know he's got a big heart. That's why he's one of my best friends. Same with Ricky. He's got a huge heart, and that's why he's one of my best friends. And we want to help people. And you know, we've created all of this. You know, this isn't just about winning. It's not just about having the best stuff, or it's about making friends and having fun. And we want to help people do that, you know, past what they ever thought that they could. But at the same time, we got to do it within our means. So thank you guys. Keep the questions coming, just at the proper times. So, yeah, the members, like I said, let me thank you guys again. The members are just ridiculous. We have so many people jumping on board. And I mean, I spent an hour last night with a guy from New Zealand, and he was just a really cool cat, has a race car background like mine. And it was just, you know, when you have an intelligent conversation with somebody who's of a like-minded person, it's enthralling. It's a cool time, especially for somebody on the other side of the world. You know, it's you know, if you guys are watching from New Zealand, Canada, Russia,
they're like 16 hours ahead of us.
I know. So I mean, you guys are. I mean, to have reached around the world, we did. Yeah. We reached around the world, dude. That's just, oh my God. I'm a poor old country boy, and I'll stay humble, but that's just freaking cool. Did you hear that, Emma? We all around the world. So anyway, thank you to our followers, our watchers. Please go to YouTube and subscribe to Streetcars of the 707.
We'll get a picture up there pretty quick. I've got one that I'm going to put up there so they can see that it's not just an S with a purple S.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get a picture up there because, yeah. So, man, I'm still blown away by Robert Knighton, man. He's just really, really, really helped me get this thing together. You know, I'm pretty darn good with a computer. I'm good with a standalone computer in a race car or a police car. But when it comes to desktops and stuff, I don't use that stuff at work. If it's not hooked to a car or a tractor or something, I don't know how to read it. And this stuff is a totally new, there's just a lot to it. You know, there's 65 different parameters and 150 different changes you can make to each one. And it's just really intense with the programming for the dyno. But the dyno will be up and running. It's going to be cheap to do. It's going to be beneficial to do. Maybe we'll have a free night where, you know, when some of this COVID stuff, you know, we'll have 15 or 20 people over to one of our houses and we'll set up the dyno and we'll put some music on and we'll just see who's got it that day. The ball. Yeah, you know, like let's just have fun. You know,
you'll be paying $1 and whoever has the fastest car.
And we'll yank those throttle blades until either the roller flies off the thing or. Yeah, so that'll be fun. So tonight, Randy put up a good. Hold on just a second. Let me do this. Can you give this to her? E-Dog. Okay, so Randy put up a post saying, you know, we have ideas what we want to do, but, you know, I've had so many people, no matter what we've done since we started this, contact me before or during or after and say, you know, you guys really went into, but you know, I was wondering about this, you know. So we put a post up. Randy put a post up of what you guys would like to see. So we take into that consideration from that post, and then we, you know, we're all over the internet all week long too. So we kind of see what's going on in you know, in chats and in posts and stuff like that. So we take those two combinations and we put them together. And tonight we came up with one short show. We're going to go over some tuning do's and don'ts. We want to give you, a lot of the newcomers. That's what we're doing this for. The newcomers is we want you guys to have a good baseline tune because you've had a Castle or you've run an RC10 or something like that, and everybody's telling you get a Hobbywing and you get it and you hook it up like I did 3 years ago, and I'm like, well, it doesn't seem any faster than a Castle until I learned about the tuning parameters, and then all of a sudden it was like having 2 Castle motors in my car because it was just so freaking fast. So we want to go over some of that stuff. We also with Hobbywing and the Tekin stuff. Ricky brought us Tekin stuff, and who also that I hear is going to be watching the show tonight?
I'm waiting to see if he hops on, but we're supposed to have Ty from Tekin to answer any technical questions.
The owner of Tekin is going to help us out and answer any technical questions with any of the tuning that he sees here. If somebody goes, what is the exact perennial of that one resistor there in the middle? I don't know that, but maybe Ty will. So Ty, if you're out there, if you're watching, if you haven't hopped on yet, when you do, thanks a lot. That's pretty cool. So whenever you can get people that are involved with owning the company or designing or engineering the products, I mean, you always want to get those people involved. So especially if they're willing to do it.
Tell you what, Ty he has helped me out more than I could say most people as far as tuning and electronics. And
wait, what?
I said,
I know.
You're a Hobbywing.
So make it back onto your side of the table. You're high. But yeah, so that's really cool that Ty's coming on tonight. If he does make it on, he's probably got, he owns a big company like Tekin. He's probably.
He said it's all up to the wife.
Well, there you
The
go.
boss
It's
is.
all into his situation.
I think that's a bigger
Totally.
issue than the business.
So, another thing we're going to do is, Randy, if you would go back over and grab that stuff. So, we put this post up to do our first giveaway, and we wanted to move past that and get onto another giveaway. But the person that won last week, Dennis Bush, actually donated it back. He's selling some stuff. Maybe he's getting ready to get into something else. I don't know. But he was nice enough to donate it back. So, Dennis, if you're out there, thank you. You're going to give some other lucky drag racer out there a chance to win it. This is a brand new RCRI bar from Steve Negri, and it's a 10-inch bar. It's exactly what we use on our cars. It's this one. It's that one. It's that one. We like them because they're thicker than all the other ones, and they're rigid, but yet they're still a non-plated, tubed ladder bar that we can get tweak out of. But them being thicker, they don't bend. From side shifting is quite as easy, and they hold a tweak a little bit better than some of the lighter bars, so we like them. And there's a lot of other good wheelie bars out there. STRC, right? Makes a good one if you like the aluminum ones. Jake's Performance Hobbies, they sell a carbon fiber one if you like that. We run these. I push these. I tell people, when somebody says wheelie bar or CRI. So that's what I run. So if you guys don't like this, you want something in something different or a different company, then that's okay too. But we're going to give one of these away tonight. And then I donated a brand new Phantom racing sticker sheet. These are the nicer ones that are pre-cut. And there's a couple things we want to get into. Eventually, we'd like to get into some bigger raffles, but I think before we might do another one about this size, maybe a little bit bigger first. But right after that, we're going to collaborate our resources together, our stock. We're going to put something together that we can raffle off, and when we raffle it off, I hope it goes for stupid money, way more money than it's ever worth, because all the money is going to go to St. Jude's. I'm going to write the check right here on the show. So. I'm really, really excited about that. I've had a lot of, I kind of thought about that. I want to give back to the sport, and a lot of the owners reached out to me in the last week after hearing that, and they were like, that's really cool, man. We went in on that. So if you need something, let us know. I'm like, wow, that's cool. Now this car we were going to build out of our pockets and our hard-earned money might have a body on it, or might have a this, or might have a that. You know what I mean? And it just brings the car that much further. So we were thinking like one of Jake's sliders, the low center of gravity slash, rip the tranny, put a Pro line in it, throw a wheelie bar set on it with some triangulation rods, some wheels and tires, and then raffle that off. That's probably brand new. That's probably worth, to build it, $350. So hopefully we can bring more than that because it's for a good cause. So if and when in the near future you see that post, you're like, man, that car's got enough spots to make $500 or $600. Well, we're not doing that for the money because we're not selling it. So we're going to be, buying stuff above board without sponsors, discount codes, and stuff out of our own pocket to build this car and raffle it off, because that's what the kids that are 7 years old and have cancer and leukemia, and that's the stuff that they deserve. They deserve to have the medicines they need and stuff, and that's how they get it, is people donating. So that's what we're going to do with that raffle. But anyway, we're going to get to this later. I'm going to set it. I'll set it right over here. And so watch a little bit longer. Again, guys, YouTube, please go subscribe. Tell your friends. Get it going for us.
You should put the name of the YouTube channel in the comments.
Do we got any questions at this point? Anything you guys see floating around in the internet world? How many people we got watching?
72.
72.
Jake says, thanks for the shout out, Dan. Happy to be here for everyone. He also said Randy's looking mighty sharp tonight.
So here's another thing too I didn't mention. He is, huh? Good looking guy. The new DR10 has come out. People are getting them all across the nation. We have not gotten one yet. We buy stuff like that from our local hobby shop, and I'm okay with it coming in a couple days later than everybody else has got one. Even though if it's something else that he didn't know that I wanted to do with the show that kind of set the show tonight. Tonight we were not only going to do an unboxing of a brand new car I was going to buy, but we're going to do something that nobody else has done, and that is we were going to take this brand new car and we were going to tear it apart like we were in a junkyard. We were going to take the training apart and the shocks apart and everything apart and see what really makes this new car tick. Just so people know. So people who are on the fence to buy them. And again, this is one of the things that was supposed to come out a month and a half ago, and it got set back because COVID hit right at the same time. And it's not anybody's fault other than just the stupid thing that's going on that we're all sick of. So when we get ours, we'll get ours. Maybe it'll be next week, and we'll be able to take it apart for you guys on the next episode 11. But that was our plan, and we're still going to go ahead with that. And there have been some unboxings, and the unboxing is cool, and I'm eager to run the car even in box stock form. I mean, even though I want to take the new DR10, take it out, cut the back of the body out, put a big old spoiler on it, yank the motor, and put a longer wheelie bar on it. You know what I'm saying? But for out of the box stock, they are studying the way Associated is, because nobody does that yet. And I don't know if this is true, but I've heard rumors of Losi and Horizon and Traxxas following suit in the next 6 months, next year, or what. I don't know what they have going on, so don't hold me to this. But they also, too, I think they're like, well, just like any other sport, Associated's doing it, we better do it, too. Yeah. We got the parts, So expect that. Expect Losi to get into this. Expect, I just joined a Losi drag racing page today. I was like, what, those cars are pretty sick. You know what I'm saying? So I want to have something. The reason why I love everybody's stuff is because there should be no hatred of any kind, even if it's a part you don't like in this. We love everything. If it's a part you like, even if I would never put it in my car, I think it's awesome. If you like it, it works for you, then I'll buy you 2 of them if you break one. But there's some trendsetters, and Associated really jumped on this, and I want to not only take it apart, but I want you, as we're taking it apart, being the Associated guy, going, oh yeah, that's different, or that's the same thing as the, because we're really going to dissect this thing like a frog back in science class in 4th grade. You know what I mean?
You see, Steve posted longer wheelie bars for the
DR10.
Steve
Negri, if you have a DR10 and you're looking for a longer wheelie bar set, RCRI, baby, RC Racing Innovations. They already offer a wheelie bar aftermarket hop-up. It's 8 inches long.
Bolts directly to the wheelie bar mount. It's already there.
Yeah, it's already there. It's ready to go. All you got to do is unbolt the old one, put the new one on. That's it. So get over to RCRI, make that happen. That's one thing that I see the car is going to need to go fast. Now, I don't know, I'm assuming at first most people will buy these cars and modify them heavily to run with us.
I saw talk already of people wanting to start a class, a DR10 stock class.
There you go.
Stock class.
And that, yeah, absolutely. And that would be cool too. Other than changing the body, because if not, you'd have 39 guys competing with all orange cars, and that's just not going to happen. So,
well, that would be pretty cool too if Traxxas and Losi did do something.
Now
like
I don't
that
know.
as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If there's anybody watching, I heard comment. I was because sometimes I just hover. You don't know I'm there, but I'm in the corner. I'm just watching.
Big brother.
And and somebody said that it comes with a TSM system. Well, I heard that you can't turn it off.
Really?
That's what I heard. So if somebody knows something, somebody that owns one, if there's somebody that owns one.
So I don't know if Jeff McDowell's watching from Arizona, but he bought one, and he posted a video of his car running it, and it was doing all this, and he said the TSM was way too aggressive or something along those lines, and he had to turn it down. So once he got it turned down, it was perfect.
So maybe it's on a potentiometer and the end lowest point is off.
Yeah.
So, and that's usually what I've seen in other brands. I personally have never owned one. All my drag cars I've ever had, I've built myself. They weren't Traxxas cars that were slashes that came with the TSM or whatever it is. I know what they are. I know they're illegal. You know, and maybe just like the kids class.
Yeah.
If the kids class, I don't care if it's got, you know, if your daughter shows up, if she can run next to Emma and have us have a good shootout, you know what I'm saying, with the full speed and not the training mode, then I'm okay with her using a gyro. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that. There's another thing I wanted to touch on too is I heard some talk recently about some guys hearing more talk about rule changes and stuff. I just want to say briefly, I don't want to get into it. The rules are, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Car must have all rubber tires. Okay, car must not have anything on the tires at the time of the race start that will leave anything in the tech person's hands or on a piece of glass that is cheating. This is a true no prep class. It must have a body that covers all four wheels. Now, as long as that body covers all four wheels and it's short course truck wheel based, that's anything else goes on the body. Whether you want a big spoiler, a small spoiler, a purple spoiler, holes in the body, cut the doors out and prop them open like you're going down the road with the doors open. If that's what you want to do with your car, that's what you can do. Why? Because those are the rules. Those are the rules that are going to stick. So I wanted to clear that up. Also, you have to have a battery that's 2S and charged to no more than 8.44. The other one is you have to have all four shocks and no lockouts, which means nothing solid in between the shock bottom and shock body where the shock doesn't work and it's a solid rod. The shock has to function. Come on, guys, it's a shock. And then also no TSM, so no gyro, no additional, you know, I mean, like I've always said when people go, why can't I use a gyro? Well, it's like, hey, if me and you race and you got a gyro and you beat me, did you really? Or did the computer beat me? You know what I'm saying? Well, actually, most people, I'd say, you know what, go ahead and run the gyro. I don't care. But those are the rules. Those are the rules that have always been since day one. And that's the way we're going to run it. So for the new guys that are getting into this and wanting to dump some money into a car and are scared to death on one thing and one thing only, that they're building a car that isn't going to apply by the rules, then that's, you know, what I just mentioned are the rules. Those are the rules. So I cleared that up. So anyway, I want to get into some stuff. Do you want to start with the Tekin stuff?
Go ahead.
You want me to start with the... Okay.
Either one, doesn't matter.
Is Ty on?
I have not seen him yet.
Okay, so...
I sent him a message.
I'm not an Apple guy, so turn that on.
You can turn off the gyro on the DR10, by the way.
Okay, good. That's good to know, because that'd be a super big feature. You know, you want to buy... I got the ready to run because it's, you know, it's cheaper to get into, but then I immediately had to go buy another radio. So, and I thought all along that Associated would have thought about that. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up my car. I mean, I'm not going to hook up my car to this because the only thing I have that hooks up to this at all ever is my phone, and my phone is actually probably has a JoJo Siwa video going on it right now. So what I'm going to do is I can actually show you a generic demo mode tune on an XR10 Pro that for the new guys can get a lot of extra speed, enough to go racing with and get comfortable with it, that will not hurt the car, okay? Unless you do something that I'm not aware of. The tune and the stuff I'm going to show you and the tune I'm going to walk away from the table with tonight giving you is not going to hurt your car, okay? If you follow what I'm saying, okay? So first of all, there's a couple things before we get into the tune that you want to do, okay? Number one, the motors all usually come saying about 25 or 30 on the can. There's no way to really tell that because if you watch an episode, whatever, we went over motors and whatever the little hashtag is that the company painted on the end of the motor is not sometimes what the inside of the motor is doing. So if you are like one guy we know turning people's end belts all the way up to 50 and then tuning it, you're going to blow your car up. So leave the end belt at the hash mark no greater than 30. You know, hobbywings come at 30. They're usually more about 26 or whatever, and that's the differential of what's actually going on inside and what the paint mark on the outside you're seeing means. And unless you have an $80 motor analyzer, you'll never know what that real number is. So don't go yanking the timing. If anything, go down with it. The timing can be used as a last-ditch effort for little increments in actually substituting for a gear change. So you can actually use end belt timing as like gearing on the car. That's advanced stuff. We might not get into that tonight. So If you're using a Proline or a Traxxas transmission, I don't know what you're using, but I always recommend, I think Randy followed suit with the associated cars, I always start with the biggest spur gear I can get for it. We want torque, and you're not gonna achieve some of those torque parameters that I try and pull off of my cars with a smaller gear, a 72, a 75. So on the Proline, the biggest one you can put on is the 86, and on a Traxxas, you can put a 90 on it. I would recommend the 90. And then on an Associated,
I got a 90.
you got a 90 on your Associated. So he's running a 90 on his Associated.
I got an 87 on my Proline.
Now, I'm not going to... Now, I've always said this. You guys, whether you're new and you don't know any better not to, please don't reach out to anybody and say, hey, what can I get a gear ratio for that? This is something you need to go support your local hobby shop with. You need to blow the $40 and go get 6 pinion gears and start low with a smaller gear. The pinion gear is the one on the motor, and work your way up until the car bogs. We'll get into that. So on whether it's the 90 or the 86 on any car, with the tune I'm going to give you, I would recommend starting out around an 18 or an 18 to a 19 tooth pinion. Now, if you want to go by a 20, 21, 22, 23, and then check that stuff out, but do it in small increments, and you only do that until after your tune is done, okay, and some other things too. But start low. The gearing is one of the last things. That's when your tune's right on and everything's dialed, and you want to go a little bit faster, so you put one tooth up to see if you can get a little more out of it. Now, the way I can usually, I know this sounds, may sound stupid because it's not real live data, but I can hear the car. I can hear a hit from my pit 40 feet away, and I can tell you what the car did. I can damn near tell you without looking which way the car went. I mean, not really, but you know what I'm saying. And if you got a car that you hit, bah, and it starts chopping like a boat in the water, that means the motor's struggling and you're over geared. So gear it down, okay? What you want to hear is a nice bah, and just a nice crisp acceleration sound in the sound of the motor. Once you hear that bah, that sound, how'd that go? And it sounds like a V-boat, 18-foot Indian boat with an 18-horse Johnson on the back, going ba 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 across the water. That's overgeared. So guys, start whether you're an 86 or an 86 with a Proline or a 90 with an Associated,
Well, it's a Kimbrough aftermarket.
or a Traxxas, but it's an Associated car, and that's what you're running on. So start with the biggest spur gear and start at about an 18 or 19 and work yourself up in increments after what I'm about to show you. Now, on the speed control, we want to eliminate all forms of resistance. So my wires are a little bit longer. You're probably going, well, look at all those long wires. Well, my wires go clear up to here, okay? So I set my batteries all, excuse me, it's a ginger ale. I set my batteries all the way forward, as far forward as I can in the car, and these are just long enough to go in the battery, in 10 gauge wire, so no resistance, and I don't use connectors. I've eliminated all that resistance probability by using golden plated 5mm bullets that go boom right into the inboard style battery, okay? Then right before it hits the speed control, now I would recommend don't ever put your cap pack out here with the battery. Some guys didn't know better. They bought the cap pack. I told them to. They soldered it right to the ends. I'm like, no, wait, you got it. That's not how it works. You got to put it on the speed control side. We run cap packs for low ripple elimination. We'll get into that. And also, it's kind of a fail-safe for the speed control. If you draw too much down and you have one of the parameters turned off that we're going to talk about, you can damage the speed control without one of these. So get yourself a good cap pack. Go check out Milo at Flash Packs or Flash Packs Cap Packs on Facebook, and get yourself a flash pack, either 2 or 3. But then, ideally, like with the Tekin, I think he can go right to the board, and that's what you want to do. If you can solder your wires to your cap pack as closest to the hardboard on the ESC as possible. So I can't do that with just the reason that in between or sandwiching the 2 polarity leads coming into the speed control are the motor wires, and they're all so close together already going to the 10 gauge that I don't have room to put the cap pack wires there. It's just, it's impossible, and it would be just a real rig if I did it. So I didn't do that. I did this nice low profile. I cut them around and I book them open and I expose a center section of the wire. I tin it with solder. I tin this wire with solder. I solder them together. I shrink wrap over the top. So now what do we got? We got short as wires as we need, okay? We got bigger wires. We've eliminated the connectors. We got our cap pack on. We're geared right. We have our sensor. The sensor wire is everything. If you guys always always inspect your sensor wires. When I walk over to the pit every now and then, I'll kind of just push them in, make sure they're in all the way. You don't want to lose a race to a sensor wire. It sucks. And then also gear mesh. I'm not going to get into that. That should be a different episode, but always make sure your gear mesh is right. If you can't watch the pinion gear on the motor not move as you wiggle this just a little bit, then you're too tight or too loose. Too loose, you take a gear off every time you hit the throttle. Too tight, and you'll hurt the motor and speed control by overheating them. So get your car geared right. Start off with an 18 or 19, whether it's an 86 or a 90 spur. Get your cap pack wired in. Only cut the wires to the motors and the batteries as long as you need them. Don't have big wraps of wire inside stuff. Like that car up there, that car always needed to get rewired, but I beat the crap out of it, so I really don't care. It's not a race car. And you see those big looped wires coming out of the top of that car? Well, that shouldn't be like that. Those should be nice. Now, no, okay, if you zoom in on that, this car's wired nice. This is a race car. Oh, it is always heavier than I think it's going to be. Okay, now if you come back over here to the new Tekin that is outfitted with all your 10th scale, Techno, with all your Phantom racing products, motors, speed controls, batteries. Now you look at how that one's wired. The wires are as short to the motor as possible. They're nice and uniform. That is a race car. That's how you put a car together. Because I have a lot less stainless steel wire to push the current through to the motor. So it's going to eliminate heat. It's going to get voltage to the motor quicker. This car is a brand new Techno. It's been wired, but this all transfers over. Your wiring is important. You know, you want it clean. You want it as short as possible. You want to have it away from or tucked in or covered from danger spots, i.e. shocks, shock towers, anything with a hard edge on it. You don't want to fray a wire. And as you can see, this thing's, you know, I still use EC5s on it, and it's just as short as I need it to plug into the battery. And everything, the wiring's just been really gone through, and that's important to get your wiring right the first time. If you have a question, you're not good at wiring, sorry.
Getting all choked up.
Wouldn't be the first time one of us got hit with Techno, right?
I haven't yet.
We haven't.
These are
Or
these,
fifth scale low seat.
Or fifth
Fifth scale low seat to the knee.
so that is what I was showing you the 8 scale buggies for. So that's the difference between wiring that you just threw together, and it's not really race car wired, and it's just kind of didn't pay any attention to the length of the wire or what kind of connectors I use. I just threw it together to make it work, as opposed to a race car. So those are the differences. And yes, this is all outfitted with full Phantom everything in it. Why can't I get that in? Here, will you try to get that in? Thank you. So anyway. Once you've got that done, we're going to, you can just throw it on the floor when you're done. Let's get into this thing. Oops. 333111. Great, Grandma. Now we got to reset your PIN number. Okay, so, can we set this right here? Okay. So, now this isn't hooked up to a speed control, but I can go in. What is it asking me? Select connecting mode. I don't want to connect. I just want a demo. Fix it. You're killing me. There we go.
Try that now.
Okay, so I'm going to go in. And some guys have listened to me, and some guys are running the Legacy, and some guys are running the G2. The G2 is a great speed control. It's the same speed control. The only difference is the G2 has reverse polarity protection, so if you hook your battery up wrong, it won't fry anything. And then it also has an extra port in it, so you can plug in a on and off switch that it doesn't even come with. And it's all for the low price of $60 more than the Legacy. So I say save yourself $50. Get the speed control that has less problems. Get a Legacy. And what that is on here is, so if you see XE Run XR10 Pro G2, second one from the bottom. And the next one, the third one from the bottom, is XE Run XR10 Pro 160 amp. That's the Legacy. So then I'm just going to pick a profile, okay? So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to pretend that this is a brand new speed control, okay? So the running mode, I'm just going to go through the things that I change on the speed control. Some stuff I just leave alone, that the stock parameters are fine. It's hard for me to see this far. So first, forward and reverse. We're going to change that to forward, reverse, and brake. Or I'm sorry, it comes preset to forward and brake, and I put it to forward, brake, and reverse, okay? Max reverse force. I'm going to leave that at 25% or move it to 25% if you have it something different. You don't need a lot of reverse force in the specific time where you might be coming off of a good hot run and you go to hit the brake and for some reason you double clicked it or you were talking to somebody or something and it went into reverse. You don't want it to get hit with a lot of reverse force. So you don't need a lot of reverse force. 25% is enough. The big one here now, when I say this, that means that you're going to have problems in chasing your tail, and everything's like Dan said too. But you know, and you might have missed this one and another one and another one. It's like 3 big things that I'm going to show you guys in here, and this is where a lot of the power comes from. So if you don't do this, then you'll have problems. Now, a lot of people ask me, why the heck would you shut your auto lipo off? Auto lipo is a design feature built into the circuitry of the ESC that eliminates if the case would arise that you ran your car too long and the battery voltage went too low, the speed control would notice that, and instead of hurting the battery, it would just shut down. Well, what we want to do is, we're only racing for 2 to 3 seconds here, okay? And if you run your car for 20 minutes straight, your motor's going to be 300 degrees, glowing red, and you deserve to blow the battery up. So this is why I'm telling you, okay? So the first thing you want to do is you want to take the third one down, the cutoff voltage. Oh, no, I'm sorry, this second one. The cutoff voltage, and that's for the low lipo. And you want to come in here and you want to switch it to disable. Okay, you want to disable the low lipo. Now, granted, if you go out, you're having fun with your buddies, and man, I guarantee you, it happens easy. I've done it before, and you don't pay attention to how hot the car's getting, and you're having so much fun that you run it and run it and run it and run it, because that's when you're going to hurt something. If you do, always is practicing, because we run our cars harder in practice. If you don't do 25 or 30 hits, you'll never need this. So if you're like us and you're racing with your guys, and you have a pretty uniform race sanction already, and you guys are running top 10 lists and stuff, you won't need this feature. So what this is going to do if you don't disable it is, after you get a run or two in, see, if you're on the list, you will never run more than once in a round, maybe twice in a round, but it won't take a lot off of your battery. But if you're running an eliminator round to try and make it on the list, you might have to run 7 or 8 times, before the race is over, because there's no time to go back to the pits. So once you get up to the second or third, there's going to be just enough battery missing on the battery from the previous runs that when you do hit it full throttle, the speed control is going to suck so much voltage out of the battery at once that it's going to trick the speed control into thinking it's lipoing, and it's doing a low voltage warning, and it's going to shut down in the middle of the run. This was very frustrating when I figured it out. Actually, Jake Rosen at Jake's Performance Hobbies helped me figure that one out. So that's what you want to do. You want to take the cutoff voltage and you want to disable it. Everything else in here is good except for the remote off. That is a way to shut the speed control down or turn it off or something. I don't know, from just your remote. Like if you hop on one leg and hit the reverse 3 times, it'll shut the car down. I don't know how it does it. I've never used it. I just disable it. I wouldn't want my car to...
With the Phantom speed controls.
Yeah.
In race mode, obviously you're not running reverse.
Yeah.
So to shut the ESC down, you hold it in reverse for 5 seconds.
Okay, well there you go. So
I don't know if that's the same for hobbywing.
And that shuts the car down. I don't know why you'd want that, but maybe for a boat application, I don't know. So so the next thing you want to do, you can leave throttle rate control at 1. That's where I run mine. Throttle curve at linear. Usually your neutral range can be from 0 to 6. It usually comes on 6. This is set at 4 for some reason. You can leave it at 4 if yours is 4, but I recommend 6%. Okay, this is another big one. Pwm Drive Frequency, okay? So this is going to come from the factory at 2K, okay? And you're going to put all this other stuff in your car and gear it and do everything I say, and you're going to be like, dude, the car's just not hitting as hard as other people's cars. Well, that's because your drive frequency is at 2K. Take that thing and go back to 1K. Now it's going to hit hard. Your PWM drive frequency has got to be at 1K for a good hit, okay? Softening value, I use a little bit of this. I use 5 degrees. through 10% of the throttle. So what that means is no matter what I tune in coming up, as far as power goes into the car, when I first hit the throttle to the 10% point on the throttle, however much tune timing that I've thrown in it down here where we haven't been yet, no matter how much I throw at it, it's going to hold back 5 degrees until I hit 10% throttle, so it doesn't blow the tires off. And if you're at 5 and 10% of the throttle, and you're still blowing the tires off, you can back that. You can raise it to 10 degrees and maybe 20% of the throttle. But if you get this too high, you're up in 20 or 30 or 40 degree or percent of the throttle. It's going to soften the car. So only use the softening value a little bit. Okay. I hope, did that make sense, guys?
Yeah. Someone just asked what the PWM is again.
I forget the abbreviation for it. I used to know it, but I just know it's the frequency at which the speed control delivers electricity. And that's exactly on my 8-scale car what was softening it. And I didn't know it because it's a reverse scale from this. And I thought that the 5, the max was the 1 on this, but it wasn't. And I had the car really soft, and I couldn't figure out where all the power went until I reversed it the other way and went back to 1K or whatever, and boom, all the power came back. So, and a lot of this, I'm not an electrical engineer, so I'm showing you guys what I have learned with this myself and how I run my stuff. And if you like to do it a different way or you don't agree with something, hey, you can do whatever you want with your stuff. But I'm just trying to open my book to what we do. So, and this has to go. I helped Randy out a lot. Randy's figured out a lot for himself, but I helped him out a lot. I helped Ricky out a lot. So a lot of the hobbywing stuff that they know is kind of what I'm teaching you here, and they apply this stuff too. So, initial brake force. Hold on a minute. Okay, so drag brake, you want to make sure that you have 0% drag brake, okay? Your brake force, that's how much brake the car is going to have. You don't want too much when you're doing 65 miles an hour. I wouldn't recommend 100% brake force. I keep mine at about 75 or the one below it, and that's where I start, and I do a rip. And after that test hit with my grudge car, I go, okay, dude, I didn't slow down. Like I felt like the car could have taken more braking, but it didn't slow down. It was dangerously didn't have enough brakes. So I'll go up to the next one. Okay, so you don't want too much brake. That will spin the car out and flip it over. So ease into that one too. So all this other stuff is good. You want to leave the brake curve linear. Brake rate control I leave on 1. So let's go down into some of the timing stuff. Now, do you guys have anything at this point that you guys want to add, or any questions that I'm not seeing? Or yeah. Okay, so the boost timing. This is the timing that the car is going to leave with, minus whatever you typed in to the softening value. So I would recommend starting your boost timing at about 18 degrees. Now you can go up. I usually in my cars, I won't go past about 22. That's just about where you want to leave the boost timing. So here's a big one. Here's another big one. Boost start. You want to start this, I usually say right around 5,000 or 6,000 RPM. It's at 500. So I'm going to set it to, we'll go 5,500, happy medium. Now your boost RPM is super important because let's say the car, with everything set up right, it was going to hit 51,256 RPM at the end of the 132. Well, that means if I have my boost timing set in an RPM parameter and the end of it is set at 3,000, or let's just say 20,000, okay? Well, that means halfway through the run, it's going to stop adding boost to it. So what I want to do with that boost is I want to add that all the way through the range of maxed out 60,000 RPM. So we've set the boost timing activation to RPM. We've put the boost RPM at 5,500, and we've set the boost end RPM at 60,000 RPM. Is there something I'm missing?
No.
Okay. Well, it sounded funny. I wanted in on it. Okay. So, this is a lot harder to do to somebody over the internet like I'm doing to everybody that's watching right now. So, because I'm used to just doing this and figuring out in my head. So, turbo timing. I would start your turbo timing at right around 30 degrees, okay? Now, you can go up 4 or 5 from there once you get the chassis set up good enough to handle that kind of power. But once you go to the mid-30s, you're really pushing the 30-degree of timing you already have in the motor, the boost timing already. I've seen guys here locally take people's cars because they said they wanted to tune, and the dude said, yeah, I'll tune it, and he set the end belt timing on the motor up to 50 degrees. He put the boost timing at 40, and the turbo was maxed out at 60. And I looked at that, and he had me look at it before I ran it, and I was like, dude, I'm glad you didn't even turn that thing on. You know what I mean? You can melt one of these down and they can have problems. And if you overboost it, that's exactly what you're going to have. You're going to have a 2-week wait in RMA form through Hobbywing or a repair order from some other manufacturer. So let's not go there. Nobody wants to burn their stuff out. Do little increments. If the car's geared right and it's fast and it's snappy and you think it's got more because after 2 runs the motor's nice and cool, then go in the turbo timing and add another degree and run it again and keep doing that in small increments. Same with the gearing, until you feel the car doing that bog, I went too far, back it down a little bit. Okay, so it's happy, it's safe. So this is a really safe tune. 18 and 30, that is going to be lightning fast. That should get you to 60 miles an hour as long as you have some other componentries in the car working in perfect harmony. Now, a couple of the last ones we have the turbo delay. So once you've launched, your boost timing is held back the 5 degrees to the 10%. You reach the 10% on the throttle. The boost timing kicks in and advances the already pre-existing 30 degrees in the motor to 18 degrees. Then your turbo timing is going to come on. When do you want it to come on? Not instantly. If you set it to instant, it's going to come on just like that. And it is going to just break the tires off. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this, and I would recommend right around 0.3 seconds. So your average car out there is running 2.5 seconds, okay, from start to finish. And that's a good running car, just an average car. So 0.3 of a second is only what? 20 feet out to where your turbo starts kicking on, okay? So you've already planted the car's not walking out, it's a good hit, 20, 25, 30 feet come out the hole from launching, and your turbos are going to wind in and they're going to take off. The car's going to just take off like a rocket, and that's what I meant by when it feels like the second motor kicks in. So these last two work in correlation with that turbo increase rate, okay? I would start this at about 24 degrees per 10th of a second, okay? So what happens is once you hit that desired start point of the turbo kicking in at 0.3 of a second, this is going to throw the first 24 degrees in at the motor on top of the other timing every 10th of a second after that, okay? So obviously we just put 30 degrees in. Where's the other 6 degrees, Dan? Well, once you hit that 1/10 of a second and it drops that 24 degrees in, whatever you have left over the top of that in the turbo timing is going to be dropped in again, okay? So by the second 10th of a second after hold on a minute. Okay, so once you hit 0.3 of a second, turbo comes on. 1/10 of a second after immediately it starts coming on at 0.3 of a second because that's where you have it set to come in. At that first range, that first stage of turbo, it's going to come in at 24 degrees, and it's going to take it 1/10 of a second to do that, okay? And then it's going to do another 1/10 of a second, and in that 1/10 of a second, you're going to get your other 6 degrees. So by 30 feet out, you're going to be running at damn near 90 degrees of boost, and you're going to be moving out. So then your turbo decrease rate, that's when you're at the end of the run, you lift. What you want to do is I've just found I never ever once had a problem with hurting anything by matching that to the increase rate. So 24 degrees is what per 1/10 of a second is what it's set to come in at, and 24 degrees per 1/10 of a second afterward. So you don't want your turbo to drop too fast. That can be hard on the motor. It can be hard on the transmission. You want stuff to come down gradually just like it went up. So and the bottom of this is just your data logging so if you go out and this is all zeros and you do some tuning and you go out and run the car, the speed control itself will have saved that data, and then you come back in after 1 run or 2 runs and it's going to show you the last readings or the peak readings that it took down here in the data. So is there any other questions about the Hobbywing, and then we'll get into asking Randy some stuff about some Hobbywing stuff.
Randy don't know nothing.
Oh, why not?
Nothing?
So it will be end bell plus boost plus turbo at the end of the run.
Absolutely, yes. And that's why, 90 degrees, you got to think, I don't know if anybody's ever done a tune-up or something and they had to adjust the distributor on a car. What happens when it's supposed to be set at 10, it runs like a small block Ford, it comes at 8 degrees, okay? Like a 5.0 Mustang body, or 5.0 Mustang 302 roller-ized motor. The factory setting is 10 degrees, okay? We like to run them at about 14 to 16 degrees. Because they're just happier there. Well, if you yank that thing up to 24 degrees, it loses all its torque and it starts idling funny, and so your
funny.
Yeah, it starts funny. It's because the degrees of all the parts in the motor are off to the point to where it's just not running right. And that's what you're going to do with these. If you advance this stuff too much, you're going to blow something up, and that's why I gave you guys. Now, this isn't just maybe somebody out there will say, well, he's probably just giving us a baby tune. That's not a baby tune. That right there, I could, if you gave me this car, and said, here you go, Dan, I'll put the car together, suspension works fine, and then I suck the tune out of the speed control. You put your own tune. If I put that tune in there, I could get through the eliminator round on our list and make it on the list. That's how fast this tune is. So, for all the guys that want to, open the motor and just yank the timing and go in here and go, yep, 50, 60, instant, that's just going to blow stuff up. So when we first met a year and a half, 2 years ago, tell me, or whatever it was, tell me what are some of the things that I help you learn with the Hobbywing? What were some of the things that were some of your tough tribulations to learning this stuff?
The biggest thing in the Hobbywing that, for me,
I touched the screen and it flipped. No, I was like, oh shit.
I think mostly the drive frequencies was the biggest thing, because those already had turbo and boost in there. And I think the drive frequencies was the most the thing.
Because you didn't know what it did,
yeah, so
and you had it set probably at the stock 2K.
Yeah, because I didn't know what it was, so I didn't touch it.
The 2K, I think the reason why they leave that there is they want you to feel the power of the product, but they don't want it to blow your socks off, and that's what going from 2K to 1K does. It will knock your socks. It'll add 8 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour on your run. I mean, it is huge. It's huge for launching. It's huge for the big end. It's that PWM drive frequency. If anybody if Charlie or anybody's watching, and you know what the abbreviation power
Pulse width modulation.
There you go. Okay. Well, going to 1K really works. That's all I know. That's the only time in my life I want 1K of something. You know what I'm saying? Instead of 10K.
So that must be similar to. It's got to be the same as the drive frequency and the Tekin.
Well, I have I have a couple little Phantom things and stuff like that, and I know that they all have that. So. But that's, like I said, I'm not an electrical engineer. I don't know what it means, but I do know what it does because of my testing, and I've done a lot of testing. And one of the things I found out a long time ago that I've helped a lot of people out with. I helped one last week. I helped Randy when I first met him, was getting that 2K or that 4K or that 6K down to 1K and get that pulse width modulation opened up or closed off or whatever it does. But it adds up just a gang load of power to the car. So... anything else you want to add to the Hobbywing? What do you like about them?
They're complex but fairly simplistic.
Okay.
I mean, it was not that bad.
User friendly?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad at all.
And we know how good they are because you know as well as I have how much money in the last 3 years I've sunk into. Oh, I'm going to try this. Hey, we're going to try this. We're going to try this. And I got these just thousands of dollars of speed controls and stuff that just didn't work. And we've always come back to the Hobbywing. So.
This replaced my original one that I ended up burning up. Actually, it was with a motor that actually made it malfunction when we reset the throttle trim. Then all of a sudden it had an issue from there.
Wow.
It did the light of death, turned off, turned back on, reset or did not light of death, but they didn't turn on, so we reset everything and then redid the throttle irons, and then that was it. It felt like it had a cog no matter what.
Okay.
Something went wrong in the speed control. I replaced it, and I didn't run the same one.
I will say this, I don't want anybody to compare anybody. I like all RC products. Let's face it, the two biggest, baddest dudes in the block in no prep drag racing, RC drag racing, is the Tekin
RS Pro Black.
The RS Pro Black and the XR10 Pro Legacy and G2 by Hobbywing. They are the two bad mofos, okay? And I think it was maybe Jake or somebody else that pointed it out this week. They said, they're both, from what I've seen, they're both really good speed controls. But if you do start pushing stuff because you don't understand it, you didn't listen to the video, you didn't want to learn, whatever it was, and you push it too far, it seems like the Tekin has a smaller window for error. I've seen a lot of guys in the last couple of weeks burn out Tekins. I've seen a lot of guys in the last week burn out XR10 G2s. But it just seems like the Tekins, that if you push it too far and you don't know what you're doing, that they are a little bit quicker to go. But from what I've seen, the Tekin stuff, I've always liked Tekin products. They're American made. They're, well, most of them anyway.
It's a small company.
He's a small company. I like, everybody knows me, Lowe's. I know small companies. I always root for the hometown boy, and I'm a hobbywing guy myself. I'm sponsored by Hobbywing, and I've always run XR10 Pros, and they've treated me damn good. So,
I got no preference. It works, so I haven't touched it.
You're right. And early on, you teamed up with me, and you saw what I was doing with it, and you're like, "Wow, that really works." And then we put it. You've put it in your car on your own, taken some of what I've said and put that in the car. And man, where are you sitting on the list right now? Number 3 on the list right now. So.
Only non-Traxxas guy on the list.
Right? Yeah.
Nice.
So,
It's lonely.
if we ever get to race, I'm just going to say, our main goal this year is we have one of the fastest lists, if not the fastest list in the nation, and we plan on in the next race or two to be dominating the top 3 of our lists. And that's just how it's going to go down come hell or high water. So we're going to give it the old college try. We're going to give it everything we got, which is a lot of resources and a lot of tuning capabilities and stuff that people would just kill to get their hands on. And we're lucky to have that stuff. We're graced by touched by the grace of God to have the supporters we have, and really.
Car backfired.
The door's open. You're
I
fine.
think we just blew a Hobbywing.
Well, I saw a piston shoot across the floor. It must have been a Chevy Smart. Anyway, so if Randy doesn't have anything else, is there any other questions, guys, about the Hobbywing stuff? I know it's hard for me to see, and it's hard for you guys probably to see this, and there's probably those little lines moving through the video
It
camera.
actually wasn't that bad.
I don't know. I try to describe it how it happens in my head, and in terms that people who don't know what I'm talking about would maybe understand it a little bit easier. If you have a Hobbywing, if you're out and about, not only do you not, as far as tuning at races, I try not to tune. If I do, I walk away. And why do I walk away? Because I use a Wi-Fi Express, and it's really easy to get into somebody else's stuff while they're on. We've had it happen in our races, and I don't want people to not just see what I'm doing at a race, but I don't want people to be trying to hook to their car and my car is on because I'm testing a new fan and they accidentally hook to my car somehow. So number one, I keep the Wi-Fi link. It is not on the car. Why would I want to add 60 grams to the car to something I only use for tuning that is making the car heavier? It's keeping if you keep it plugged into the speed control, you're keeping it in programming mode. Just yank the thing. I keep mine in a little box and I plug it in and I hook my phone up when I'm ready, and then when I'm done I take it out and put it away. The little what are they called? The pit guards or the pit boxes or the little tuners that are the handheld boxes. They're good for if you're out. You don't they connect with a wire, so you don't have to worry about a Bluetooth connectivity through someone else or something. But there aren't as many tuning parameters. So as far as my advice and what I run, I say get an XR10 Pro Legacy, get yourself a Wi-Fi Express, download the free app on your Apple or Android phone, and you can tune right from your phone wirelessly into the car, and that's what I'm seeing here. That's what these perimeters are going to be. For the guys that have it and aren't very good at the tuning, that's what we're going over with what I just went over with this, so that you can understand maybe not the exact abbreviations for some of the stuff, but what it'll do and how it'll make your car faster, and that's the stuff I touched on. So with that, I'd like to, did you spill my soda?
No, that's condensation, my friend.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm getting so good at spilling sodas. I got buddies spilling them for me. Oh, we got Emma's heart picture though. Okay, so take it away, Tekin.
Take it away, Tekin, huh?
Ricky B.
So, I got my first Hobbywing, brought my car over to Dan, had him tune it. Car ripped. That's Phantom. That's Shark.
Shark. Where?
And the car ran great. No complaints whatsoever. Actually won the Vegas race with a Hobbywing.
Wait, what was that?
You heard it.
No, I didn't. I was talking to Randy.
I won the race in Vegas with a Hobbywing.
Oh. Can you write
Yeah.
that down for me?
Oh.
Maybe sign it.
Oh my
When I
god.
burn that hobbywing up, I'll autograph it and hand it to you. How's that?
Put
But
on
it
the
runs so
flag.
good you don't ever want to change it. How you gonna burn it up? It's solid. It's solid gold. It's making records.
Anyways, I wanted to try something different. You know, everybody was running hobbywing, and I ventured across, I think it was the RSX Pro to begin with.
That was the first one you got. You got it from Jake, or?
No, I actually ordered a motor through Rotor Ron, and he was like, hey, try this speed control. So I'm like, yeah, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I ordered the speed control. It's Christmas Day. I'm spending all the kids' Christmas money on RC stuff. And I got the RSX Pro, put it in the car. Nobody had any idea on tuning. So everything that I'm going to explain with my tune was all learned by myself. It wasn't shown to me. It was something that I did. I ran the car, didn't like how it worked, or liked how it worked, tried moving it up a little bit. Everything was learned on my own. I don't think anybody in the 707 was running Tekin until I did.
They had all followed my lead with hobbywing. I won't say that. First of all, I didn't 100% figure all the hobbywing out stuff out myself. 15% of it at the beginning, I had some help from Charlie. I don't want to murder his last name. Shuaga, or I forget. Charlie's a local guy. Charlie's with Hobbywing. Check him out on the Charlie Show if you get a chance. He's got his a YouTube show. Charlie gave me some advice when I hit a couple dead ends with the Hobbywing, but other than that, I pretty much taught myself the tuning and how to use it and apply it and what made power and what didn't. And I put that combo together with a 5.5, a Hobbywing 5.5, and it was so fast and so ahead of everybody 2 years ago that people followed suit and bought 5.5s. Then once they started catching up to me, I went to a 4.5, and nobody knew what I was running. And they're like, what the heck? And they all found it, and then they went to 4.5. I think I probably helped Jake Rosen sell a lot of motors. So, and that's where, I've experimented with the 4.0s and the 3.5s and the 3.0s and the 2.5s, and it's my personal opinion that those are drag motors, but those drag motors are aimed at the drag racing that's been around for 20 years, which is 2-pound solid axle pro mod cars that run on prep track, and there's not a whole lot for the motor to get moving. And these cars are different. That's the one thing that makes these cars different. Whether you think it looks like a pro mod or it looks like a real car, it is not a pro mod. It is a 5-pound car. These are heavy cars compared to what some of these lower turn motors are designed to run. So what we have found is that the 4.5 is just the golden goose. You go any lower, you lose your torque curve, you run the risk of burning up any manufacturer's speed control, and it's just not as fast. So that's where we've stopped at, and almost everybody in the nation is running a 4.5, and that is something I'm proud of. I figured that out really early on, and it helped a lot of people get fast. So go on with the Tekin.
Anyhow, I don't remember where I was, but
I'm
I ventured
really
in. I ventured into the Tekin.
You did everything yourself.
I pretty much had to learn the program myself as far as parameters and what everything does. I'm getting distracted by
I'm sorry.
cars over here.
Broken
Anyhow, the RSX Pro, I bought it, had a fan on it, was like, need a fan, drag racing, gotta have the fan. I ended up burning it up. Rookie mistakes, cranking stuff way too high, just...
Is that when you got turned on to this speed control?
So then I contacted Ty Tekin, became pretty close with Ty. We talked daily on Messenger or whatever, Facebook.
Which you had to, because no matter who you bought it from, if you burn that speed control, you got to go to the manufacturer. Yeah.
And Tekin has an awesome 180-day warranty from the date of purchase. So I contacted him. He had a new one out to me. He recommended the RS Pro Black. It's 560 amps. It's a doubled up board. I don't know if you can see it, but it's basically 2 speed controls in one. There's two power boards back here, doubled up FETs, 560 amp. Yes, there is no cooling fan, and I hope with what I'm going to show in the tuning, we're going to stop seeing these guys burning speed controls out.
Because it's happening left and right with Tekins, and these are good speed controls.
So flashing lights of death.
Let's clear it up.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go into...
He's actually going to hook this car up and show you it.
Turn on the Futaba here so the car don't take off into Jamie's lap.
That's where the Hobbywing has never moved an inch on me.
These don't, but
Okay.
First time
for some
everything?
reason, if the radio's not paired to the receiver, it won't send signal to the hot wire.
Well, here's another thing too: is I didn't ever want to turn my radio on because I don't want the speed control to be listening to the radio. I want it to be listening to the Wi-Fi Express. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that means anything or it doesn't matter. It might not, but
No. So I have what you call the hot wire. I'm sure anybody that has a Tekin knows.
if for you hobbywing guys, that's the equivalent of the Wi-Fi Express.
Wi-Fi
Yes. Okay.
except it's Bluetooth
So why do you have it on board?
because it doesn't weigh
It
anything.
doesn't weigh. It's plastic.
It's plastic. It weighs nothing, and it's Bluetooth bound to my phone.
No,
Nobody
that's
else.
why the Wi-Fi's weigh so much because
Aluminum
they're
case.
aluminum case.
Nobody can pair into mine because that unit you have to push and hold the bind button and
Yeah,
pair
you
it to my phone.
Just like
Oh,
any
okay, so
Bluetooth item.
that's a cool feature.
So,
Okay.
so what I'm gonna do?
Well, I don't want
You
to
can,
show your secret. Well, your phone's right there.
well, I don't. Who the hell in Facebook land is gonna log into my phone?
You never know.
This thing needs pink springs.
I just got 2 packages in the mail.
Damn, that thing just sits like a freaking gangster, dude.
That car rips, dude. That's my
how
kid.
that-
This
that's
is my
how
kid's
exactly how
car.
this car sits, dude. Just a gangster.
So when you open the app, you can zoom in here.
This is Chase's
It
car.
doesn't do it.
This is my kid's car.
This is Chase's 11-year-old son. That I'm telling you what, don't underestimate him and think he's a kid and challenge him to a race because he's good at waxing stuff.
Anyhow, so once you have your app open, you're bound. You hit that little red dot. Once that dot turns blue, you are now connected. I'm sure most of you guys know this. I'm going over this for maybe somebody that just got an RS Pro and a hot wire and has no clue what they're doing. So now I'm connected. You have 4 different, down here at the bottom, 4 different menus to choose from. The first one is setup. So you're going to do your cell count. You can go 1S, 2S, all the way up to 3S. And then the cutoff, so I'm going to set that at 2S. The cutoff per cell is the voltage cutoff. As you can see, I'm at 0. I'm disabled. So once you've got that loaded in there, you hit done. Your BEC voltage, that's for your accessories, servo, whatever. I leave it at 6 volts. Motor direction is normal. So then you get into the motor type. So you have brushless forward only, brushless forward immediate reverse, which we don't want because that's how we break stuff. And then
But it makes good wheelies.
forward reverse delay. That is the one that you want. Forward reverse delay. So it gives you a brake, and I think you can set the reverse delay to whatever amount of time you want. 1S mode, obviously we're not running 1S in these cars. Data remote erase, turn that off. It's a way to erase the data. Unfortunately, I have an Apple phone, which I can't pull my data logs through the Apple phone. But I can plug my USB right into the speed control and pull every data log and graph and everything I want. So then I go to the brakes. Obviously, drag brake is off. Same thing with the Hobbywing. A lot of this is going to be the same as the Hobbywing. I do my brake a little different. I have my brake strength at 100%, and I tune it down through the radio. Brake frequency, that's how aggressive the brake is when you apply it. Active drag, don't really need that. RPM brake, don't need that. All right, so this is where the tuning comes into play. So throttle minimum, you have a scale of 1 to 30. That is like your punch control. I normally, depending on the surface of the road, if it's real slick, I'm going to run it about 5. I would say a good mediocre setting to start with is 10.
So it's like a softening range?
It's basically a softening value. There's a couple different softening values through Tekin. Neutral width, I leave it at 15. Never really messed with it. Maybe someone on there has and can shed a little light. But like I said, this is what I've learned myself. Not a pro.
Is this thing on right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Reverse delay. So I set it at half a second. I don't want to hit the brake and all of a sudden, next thing you know, the car's shooting in reverse
Or
somewhere
spinning
else.
out.
Or spinning out or whatever may happen. My reverse speed's 35. After all, we're not racing in reverse. So I just wanted enough to back the car up, turn it around, and go. Throttle frequency. So this is a big one. This is something new that I kind of learned. And from now on, I will be running mine at 12K.
Is that like the BMW?
It's another softening or how aggressive your throttle is.
12K at the high end of the...
That's the softer leave. Anything with lower, like in all honesty, if I was going to race you, I'm cranking mine down to 2, 3, somewhere in there if I'm racing you.
You better put a -3, homie.
I don't know.
So you turn some of the softening off to give it a little better launch.
One thing I've learned with this, and just me testing in front of my house, I did one pass on 6,000, brought the car back, felt the ESC, and it was warm.
Really, off one pass?
I shut it down. It wasn't warm to where I was like, oh my God, it's going to melt down. I shut the car down, put a new pack in it, changed tires, gearing, whatever it was, or changed tires. Then I changed this to 12,000. I ran the car. I was able to make 2 or 3 passes before it even...
Sorry.
That was awesome. So is that payback because I did it to you?
No, I looked at him and I said, should I fart? Yeah, to give you payback?
I thought you asked.
And Randy just went like this. He just went, no. Go on, I'm sorry.
So the heat variance, as you know, the RS Pro does not have a fan. And running this throttle frequency, if you drop it down to 6, do a pass or 2. Don't go any more than that. 12,000, you can make a few passes and be safe. I talked to Ty. He says, yes, throttle frequency will certainly play a role in how hot that ESC gets. So I set mine at 12. The torque level is another launch control. You can go all the way up to 10. And you might blow the tires off.
Now I have one question for you real quick. The 12K that you said you tried to dip down, it's just too much. Does that just affect the launch, or does that also soften the other stuff that comes in?
That's the aggressiveness of the throttle.
Okay, so it won't, if you give it to it, it won't give it to it. It'll just kind of
that kind of holds.
Yeah, okay. So it is.
I guess it's like a current limiter.
Okay.
But the torque value is how much hit it actually gives you.
Okay. And
you can run yours all the way at 10. If the road will take it, run it. I usually start out somewhere around 4 or 5 and turn it up as needed. You know, if I feel like the car's taking it, I'll bump it up to 7. And like that. And then I hit done. Now the torque setting is set. So that's basically that menu there. And then we'll go into the timing profile. They have... Lock spec is which if you're racing blinky mode in a 17.5 buggy. Spec stock. They have these preloaded profiles in here. I don't ever mess with them. I just do a custom profile. Censored, obviously we want it on. Boost. A nice level to start with boost. I would say be somewhere around 18. I run it pretty similar to what Dan does in the...
Because either way, 5 degrees is 5 degrees. Whether it's through a Tekin or through a hobbywing, you're advancing it. So
what I've noticed is, like, cranking up the M-belt timing. You run 40 on that, you crank your boost up to 30, you're at 70 already. Then you add 40 turbo.
You haven't even turned on the twin Nagasaki 17 millimeter noisy boys. Yeah.
So I run about 18 to 20 on the boost. It's a good number. RPM settings. So this is similar to what the hobbywing is, except it was explained to me a little different. And I don't know if the same applies to the hobbywing or not. So you come up here to your current end RPM, and I want to end it at 35,000 RPM. Because I want the boost to come in, and then as the boost starts teetering off, the turbo takes over and runs you down the track. So you put 35,000, you hit calculate RPMs. You come down here, it gives you this RPM range. You can start the boost at 910 RPMs all the way up to 30,000 RPMs. I'm going to pick 16,000. And the reason why is because these motors, they hit that RPM in the blink of an eye.
Nothing, yeah.
So running it at starting RPM at 6,000, you're taking a huge hit on your battery that you don't need to take. So Now, whether the end RPM at 35,000 on the boost really helps it shutting it off at 35,000 or not, that's where I run it. If you guys seen the video of my car, it's pretty fast. So yeah, you got to plug it in, 35,000, hit calculate RPMs. If you guys want to try to run down in these lower RPMs, go for it. Me personally, I'm right about 16,000. And then I hit done. My turbo settings, I can crank that sucker all the way up to 50, which I don't do.
Is that the max parameter?
Yeah.
Okay.
I run it about, I'm going to say 30. Sorry, turbo's kicking in here.
Yeah, sorry on Randy's behalf. That's boost right there. Right?
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Turbo, I said, a good number is 30. Like Dan said, this is a pretty competitive tune. Guys at the tracks that come and help me. One of the Hawaiian guys, I loaded this into his ESC, and he said he was spinning his car all over the place. So, and then you have your turbo. The wheels aren't even tight.
Oh, okay, good. I'm holding on.
Then you have your turbo delay. It's the same thing as Hobbywing. See, Dan runs his. That one will go down to tenths of a second. This one will go all the way up to 1 second delay. Oh, it'll even go more. You don't want to go any further.
1 second delay at 132. You're at 70 feet.
So the reason why it was explained to me is boost. Like, for example, in a real drag car, you're building boost at the line. You're sitting there spooling the turbos, building boost. When you leave that line in that real drag car that's a turbo car, you're using that boost to get off the line until the turbos start spooling, and then you're relying on the turbos to get you down the track. So I run my turbo delay at 0.7. Now, if I pull up next to Randy or Dan, and I feel like I might need that little bit of extra power,
drop it down.
I'm going to drop it down a little bit. I went out, first time ever racing for our list, got on the list first day. My turbo delay was at 0.7. I was already half track before my turbo even kicked in.
And why is that, guys? How can you win 80% of the races? Making the car do the same thing every time. Watch video 1 or video 10 on chassis tuning and get your car to go straight.
So then Hobbywing, their ramp on their program shows 24 degrees per tenth of a second. This is just a scale of 1 to 10. Obviously 1 being less aggressive, 10 being the most. I usually run around 4 or 5. If I need to throw more at it, I'm racing someone that I feel is fast, I can crank it up. But just remember, the more you crank this up, the hotter it's going to get. So I usually run about 4, and that is basically it. And once you're done, you're going to come over here, just swipe to the side, hit apply. So it's saving all the settings into the speed control. When you're ready, you hit drive. You hear that?
That's just downloaded that tune into the speed
That's
control.
in the speed control. Now you're ready to go. Tires aren't glued, so I'm not going to punch it.
Why don't you tighten them bitches when you put them on the dyno? Oh. I got some tires. Okay.
Balloon in the plastic rim?
The rim, did you see the expansion?
Drifter drag car.
But that's it. If you guys want to go back to the beginning, you open up your app, Hobbywing app. I have, as you can see, 3 hot wires binded to my phone for each drag car.
It's got a small footprint. I like that.
But you just hit that little dot, opens it up. As soon as that turns blue, it's connecting, it's reading the data.
Right now you're sucking what's in the speed control
into
into
phone.
that to open it up to an open book so you can make changes.
And then as you can see, everything's set. My boost is at 18, my RPM's 35. Turbo, I put it at 30 with a delay of 0.7. Do you hear me, Captain? The ramp's at 4. Everything that I showed you guys in programmed is saved in here. If you guys load this tune into your car, you copy everything I just did, and you feel like your car can take more, add some more turbo into it. Maybe change the current ramp rate up. You know,
explain what the ramp rate is.
it's how fast the turbo comes in.
Okay.
1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. It doesn't give me a
So
degree.
hold on. What do you mean comes in? That's not time. That's how much comes in.
How quickly?
Like I just showed these guys in the Hobbywing, the 24 degrees for every 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, see, Hobbywing, you can do it by degrees.
Yeah.
This is just a ramp level, 1 through 10.
Okay, got you.
So, and like I said, I always run about 4. Someone I'm a little nervous might need some more power. I'll crank that sucker up to 6 or 7. But every parameter that you're going to crank up even higher is going to cause more heat in that speed control. Now, these guys that are getting a pass or two, and their speed controls are hot, I would certainly go back to your gearing or your can timing. Whatever these motors come with, I don't change it. I've never changed end belt timing on any of my motors whatsoever. And if that's what you want to do, go for it. You might just get the flashing lights of death.
If you do what?
If you crank up the end belt, crank all your turbo and boost timings all the way
Same
up.
thing with anything. You're just turning everything. What happens if you buy a brand new stereo system and you plug it into the wall and you're going to hit the power, but you don't?
And you turn it
You
on.
put a CD in, you get it ready to go, and you have the volume all the way at the max. Do you think that's going to be good for your speakers? No, it's like that with anything. You wouldn't start up a brand new V8 engine with the throttle wide open. It's the same thing. I mean, you can't throw massive amounts. You got to ease into the stuff. And does that take a lot of work and writing down with a pencil what you did and where you went, and putting time into changing and running and changing? And it does, but that's what win races. Is getting that tune right. It's a tuner's game.
So that's one thing. I don't know if you guys saw my post. I learned something new with the tune, and my car was just screaming down the road. Was that whole RPM thing? I was running my RPMs, the end RPM at 60,000, which was throwing all this timing in at the same time,
Okay.
and it was over timing the car. So I dropped the boost RPMs down.
From what to what?
I was at 60,000 based off of what we run in the hobby.
Boost?
On the end, like you program in yours, the start and the end.
Oh.
I was at the lowest RPM and the highest RPM.
And what was it doing?
And I took that out, put it down to 35,000, and my car just, it's way faster. So I think I was just over timing the motor, and who knows from there, but.
Huh. Okay, is there any questions out there for Randy? I mean Ricky with the Tekin stuff. Is there anything that Ty, maybe if he's still watching, wants to add?
I don't think Ty ever made it on.
Okay.
But I think I've covered it. Anybody else has any questions, they can PM me.
And it was one of the things when Randy, going back, we picked what we wanted to do in this show off of Randy's post earlier on in the week, and he said, you guys tell us what you want, and yes, there was some different stuff on there, but out of say 15 comments, 12 of them were people with timing or show us your cars with the tops off. They wanted to get technical. This is my car. This is the Gunslinger for 2020. Coming to hopefully earn some W's to a track near you. This is a Black Widow chassis. It's got a lightweight, low-profile Savox servo in it. It's got a 0-degree front bulkhead that is coherent with the Black Widow chassis design. Everything's flipped around. It's got lightweight rods, lightweight everything, axles. It's got titanium screws throughout. It has a Proline transmission. It has a Phantom RC Motorsports 4.5 Icon 2 in it with a Hobbywing XR10 Pro and a flash pack. I run a Futaba receiver, just a basic Futaba fast system. There's no gyro, no nothing in it. I've never owned one. I run an RCRI bar to complement the chassis. I like them. I like the way they're made. I got my triangulation bars that we went over in the last show. I have my chassis stiffener from the last show. Again, all the hardware in the car is titanium. So you guys wanted me to open the book on, or open the hood of my car. That's it. Take a long look. These are my shocks. A lot of people know I'm selling shocks right now. These are the stock plastic Ultra shocks. We internally polish them. We port them and valve them with what we do to the pistons. We change the springs on them. We change the oil on them. I sell them for $80 plus $5 shipping to the lower 48. I'm waiting on a lot of parts. I have a lot of parts that I'm waiting on. I have probably 6 or 7 people waiting on shocks. Be patient, guys. The shocks are in. We're waiting on springs from Traxxas. If you want to take some of the shock, math out of the equations here, I do sell a good pair of shocks that are proven winners. So that's pretty much what this car is equipped with. Randy's associated. So
I'm gonna jump in and show the world a little something secret that Tekin's working on. This little fancy one right down here. It's only available in demo mode right now. They're working on the software.
What is it?
Nitrous.
Woo! Oh, cool.
And I can go all the way to 1,000 with it.
1,000 what?
It's 1 to 1,000.
What was it?
It's a number.
Foot-pounds of torque, Newton meters,
Nitrous.
horsepower.
Horsepower.
Yes. How many kits is that? 3 kits?
4.5.
I'm waiting for it to come live.
2.5 kits too.
They're
They're on a top fogger at 400 horsepower shots. You got 3 kits. That's 1,200
They're in the
horse.
process of fine tuning all that software and everything. So
Now, is that going to be an update software for this speed control, or is that a whole new speed control that's coming out?
it'll update through the.
Oh, cool. Okay. So if 90 degrees of timing wasn't enough to rate your motor, then the nitrous might just get the trick done. Hey, anything new? I think that's awesome. A nitrous parameter just to add a little bit more at the end or whatever. That's awesome.
If
dude.
it really makes a difference, who knows?
Yeah,
You
totally.
Maybe it's just
But I'll
fair
tell
to
you
say
what.
I got 500 on my nitrous. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's something I'd be willing to totally take a look at. So, are you gonna throw some tires on there, or we're gonna throw something on the dyno, or what?
I got a different connector.
You just hooked it up with a battery.
It's in storage mode.
So
I just brought it to.
one rip and see how fast we can get that fucker spinning.
Where's your battery tester?
Second drawer, left hand side.
You really want a car to fly off of here already?
Oh, it ain't going nowhere. That chain will hold at least 100 to 200 pounds.
We're awake now.
7.83.
Well, she's got a pass left in her. That's so awesome.
So where's the ammo can full of SMC packs?
I don't. Oh, although doesn't the EC5s plug into these?
No.
EC5 don't. They plug into XT90s.
Are
These
you
are the
sure?
kinds
Oh, those are the
somewhat-
big ones.
Somewhat plug into
those are
them.
the big
Still
ones,
loose.
okay.
Don't plug them
You know
in.
what the biggest connector is?
What?
No connector. Okay, is there any questions out there? Anybody's got anything else like maybe hot on their head while we quick question?
David, hold your panties on. We'll get to the giveaway when we get to the giveaway.
Yeah, David.
Oh, that's brotherly love right there.
Well, I just like to say, if David
Panties all
Vieira
bunched
does
up.
win, he's automatically donating it out. Yeah.
Go back up.
I think these. You really want to throw them on?
Oh, look at this
You
one's
gotta
all.
let me turn it on real quick. I mean, I spent 2 hours with Robert Knighton up in Washington with KB Kings and rctags.com figuring out how the dyno works, and I still have a lot to learn, dude. But
It's chirping.
I'll send that bitch if you'll send that bitch.
I'll send that bit.
I have the parameter on the mile per hour right now at 110. I want to see if you can do it. Look at that shit! It's like, let's do it, bro!
Let me crank some things up in here.
These tires are actually decent. These only have a couple passes on them. Throw those tires on.
Dun,
And then
dun,
you guys
dun.
can talk
Am I
about
in the way?
something while I hook the car up. Let me get out real quick, Randy. Emma, you good?
Yeah.
Where the hell's the tire at?
It was out.
Bottom
It's
drawer.
Right there behind Jamie.
Oh, great. Now Jamie
Okay.
has to move.
So,
You're fine.
Okay. You're on.
Clearly.
Here.
Should we,
No, let's do an upload.
should we do a shout out?
Oh,
Or
wait,
do we want to?
Here, we'll just. You're a walking billboard. Stop moving. I'm supposed to cover the
What are you guys
merchandise.
doing?
we're going to throw a
They
fast
really
car on
don't
dyno,
know.
baby.
They got a wild hair and now they have to pull it.
KB Kings, hashtag 100 mile per hour club. We're going to try.
We're going to try. Now, granted, this is a battery. You just saw him just tested. It's got 780 in it, okay? This is an 11-year-old kid's car, so don't feel too bad when it has 103.
On 780.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's just have fun with it. Like I said, Robert Knighton of rctags.com. If you want to check him out for decals and mini miniature license plates and stuff like that. Yeah, it doesn't stay on there at all. Right, so okay, so give me a couple minutes.
I'm gonna finish working on.
Why don't you guys take some questions over here at the table while I hook this up, and see if there's anything anybody else
I got secrets going on here.
It's just your forehead.
You like my COVID cut, people?
Ready, come here.
Yeah.
Please. Just hold the card.
Shoot, we need a commercial.
Oh, that's all
Oh, your COVID cut looks good.
I got a big head for a COVID cut. I'm gonna turn my turbo
Some
delay
ginger
down.
ale.
I don't think we need to.
Hey, give it a push that way.
Huh?
Give it a push that way.
That's what she said. Oh, sorry.
Top of the third one. I am chaining this into our new dyno.
I see 93 and that was loud. 100 has to be crazy loud.
Loud? Oh
Dude,
boy.
let me put it this way.
Well, I'm on set. I got 784 volts.
Here's what I'm projecting.
93 with a 6.5.
What gearing though? What pinion?
Don't worry
I
about
don't know,
it.
it's a 6.5 motor.
So hey, here's what I don't have 100% of the parameters exact in this dyno yet. So we're just gonna have some fun with it. See if the thing handles a pull. Handles a pull from a big car.
Tyler Moore, any settings in the Futaba that you mess with?
Nope. Crank the endpoints all the way up and go. How's that body? This is called the Menace.
Is it first name Dennis?
No, my kid is a menace, so I figured it was a perfect name. I'm gonna kind of wait until I hear back from them before I make any comments on the other part that we talked about for Chase.
Oh, okay.
Man.
So,
We got some new tires we're trying out.
no, the Tekin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, there are new tires in the works. Once we get a good test in, we'll give full disclosure on what
Someone
come up
asked,
with.
someone asked about tires, and someone commented, "They don't tell us what tires
Yeah, I
they
saw
are."
that.
And I said, "It's in the works. Don't worry."
Get a full disclosure.
There you go.
You will
We
know
wanna do
soon
our
enough.
testing. We don't want to say. Okay, so let me see the radio real quick.
I don't have it this on.
Turn on. These on tight.
We're gonna find out. Can I video you yet?
Feels kind of loose.
Yeah, but you gotta remember the tires are gonna get huge, and when they get huge, it's gonna really tighten stuff up.
We gotta.
I'll hide over here.
I'm actually.
I'm actually going under the table.
Shit. I'm staying over here.
Randy, you hold the front bumper.
Yeah, you guys, I just finally, I've been working on this for the last 2 weeks.
Okay,
Robert
can I do
Knighton
now?
of rctags.com helped me put this thing together. As far as the software and you know how this stuff works over here in the computer. This thing I hand fabricated everything here except for the ball bearing high quality chef dough roller.
You gave me one with a broken foam in it.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
Oh no.
I was wondering why
Okay.
it was wobbling.
Are those them? Let me see those ones. Send them, baby.
Those ones better.
How did I get broken foam? That must have just happened. I must have had it in the car and didn't even know. Okay, here, use these ones. They groove the same.
We can just check.
Oh, it is. It's got a break in the foam, yeah. My bad. So anyway, Robert Knighton of rctags.com turned me on to how easy it was for the electronics, because that was the hard part. The mechanical engineering that went into the roller dyno, the mechanical part of it, that the car is sitting on.
Oh,
That was
that's
the
why
easy
went
part. It took a lot of time to build. We got it down. I still have the computer program is super complex, and it's something I'm working on. I will be in the next week or two to perfect it and make sure that, triple and quadruple check it that it's accurate. And then once we're at that point, we'll start doing dyno days. So
Feel that one. One's there, and one's there.
I like to give them spinnies up and oh wow.
One's there, and one. You
Well,
broke
here
that. You broke that in 2 spots.
these are garbage.
And he's like, I'll take the ribs.
I'll take the ribs
Well,
off.
here's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna mix it up with that.
Perfect, yeah.
Hey, look at I finally got you guys all in one freaking.
Okay.
Look at that, there's the
Window.
snap phone.
Oh,
Oops.
okay.
This is dirty.
Hold on.
Let me
Yeah,
feel this.
careful of the.
Yeah, don't touch the radio.
Oh, I was thinking about making it. I was thinking about making it California compliant and putting a big Lexan dome like they do with the alternator tests and stuff.
All right, guys, safety glasses on.
Oh crap.
It's really turning.
Sunglasses.
Just someone reach their hand and hold the front bumper.
There, wait. Let's try to get
You
this.
might have to cross the fronts.
No, I think it's got this too loose.
Yeah. I'm staying way the fuck back here.
Hold the front bumper.
Okay, so
Nice knowing you, Randy.
That was already only almost 55.
How's your insurance plan?
okay, I'm gonna reset, and if you want to come around here with the camera.
Jamie, you get close.
Oh, great.
Yeah, you're the one that has to take this close.
That's okay. I have Randy's phone to
Okay,
protect
so
my
what I got
face.
here is I got foot-pounds of torque coming from the wheel. I got it turned up to 20 foot-pounds. Max speed maxes out at 110. RPM roller. This is how fast the RPM rolling. So our motors turn at 50 to 60,000 RPM with one of our tunes in it, but the roller never sees that. And I didn't know that. Robert explained that to me. But anyway, and then we got max horsepower. We got it maxed out at 12 horsepower. So let's see what this thing does.
You want to hold the front end?
I don't know if I should put some welding gloves on or not.
Just do it.
Just hold the front end and run it.
Well, it's this side that pulls because it goes that
I'm glad you have a big phone.
I don't know why that seems so loose. It's
Okay, I'll just hold this.
Well, you got one chain in the back. Is it X in the back?
Yeah,
You got-
they're X.
So is this side? Is that side looser than the
Oh,
other
I
side?
see.
So it pulls?
Oh, I see what happened here. Hold on. Okay.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Loosen those up a little bit.
Ooh.
Let's do this guy.
Hey, look it.
Your
Nice shirt.
chains want to sit at a different spot in the car.
Here's what the back of his shirt looks like. www.shirtbuddies.com.
Probably have my hand right here.
You don't want to fool with what the car does, though. Okay. So
Nice
let
knowing
me,
y'all. Here we go.
Nice knowing you, car.
Shit.
Let's reset. We're going to press start.
And away we
Hey,
go.
Emma.
Okay.
Yeah, scoot to the side a little bit.
Ready?
Yeah, right there, perfect.
Just in case.
Just ease into it. 110.
110 miles an hour.
No fucking way. Do it,
110.
do it again.
It maxed
Now,
out.
Hold on, Max.
Everything.
Now, I will admit this.
It needs.
There are one or two things that I don't have an accurate. I had just kind of had to put a dummy number off of just what my personal thought that the weight was in grams. One being, I have to take this roller back off. I have to weigh this, all these pieces individually, and I haven't done that. I've just put in a round number. So these could be off, but from what I saw with another car that I know does about 25 miles an hour, it's probably, I think that with a charged battery and this thing dialed in, we're going to see 100. So let's reset that and do that again.
Shows it 110 already.
Trying to get. Oh, you're getting a lot of loud.
So right now it's doing about 22 miles an hour. We're going to see a speed.
Maxing that fucker out. Excuse the French.
Now, granted, we're probably gonna get different readings once this thing's dialed in. But you guys got this wasn't for showing off. I know it's off, but at the same time, we know the dyno works. It's up and running. The software is running. Here, I don't know.
So feel that speed control. I don't know how people are burning theirs up in 2 runs.
It's a little. I mean,
It's barely warm.
5 degrees, 10 degrees past ambient room temperature. So, yeah, we feel the wheels. The wheels are warm.
We need that at the track to heat our tires. Dyno pulls at the starting
So
line.
it does work. Built by in-house here at 707 Streetcars. This thing will be ready, up and running.
What? What's so
happened?
funny?
Got freaking
Chase is talking trash to Bill.
Oh,
Is
That's
it
my
really?
car. Game on. Let's go, Bill.
You know what? With about $15,000 in overnight parts from Japan, this thing will decimate all at Rose Wars. Okay. The only thing that I'm worried about is Hector's running 3-spoon engines. Okay.
With Motown.
With Motec standalone fuel systems. Okay.
someone said R.I.P. Dan.
So it is.
R.I.P. Dan.
Huh?
Someone said R.I.P. Dan.
Don't make me go get my gunslinger on there.
Oh, I think it was Ribbit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can move the parameter and move the speed up, but I think that the car is probably with that dead battery was probably right around 90.
Yeah.
From what I'm gauging, from the things
Well, that
that I've
was the
seen. So
first-
after I spent 2 hours or an hour and a half or whatever it was, or an hour with Robert Knight on the phone, I have until we started the show spent every minute on this thing figuring it out. I mean, I got the gauges different colors, I got everything dialed in. I went through all the parameters and measured everything, and I have a lot of stuff measured. They want the thickness of this, and the thickness of the plate, and the diameter of the roller, and the diameter of this axle, and how much the axle weighs, and how much the roller weighs, and what the overall structural, integrity of the roller is.
Gear ratio this, gear ratio that.
It's
tire
really
diameter.
Here's what we could do though.
Doing it again?
KV King says, "Hey, you owe me a 2-second car." LOL.
I love it. You guys are KV Kings. You guys are awesome. That is the best thing I've heard all night. Okay, so here it is. I got it programmed to, so I can go in and switch it up to a different looking dyno or a different. I mean, I can put 40 different gauges here with different stuff on it with exterior sensors and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over to the dyno.
Do you want to get closer?
And I'm going to. Somebody grab me my phone. Emma, can you give me my phone? What spur do you have on that?
87.
And then you want to whisper the opinion to me? Hold on. Huh? Okay. So let's do.
That times that divided by
Oh, Jesus. Now
2.72.
Okay, so. Oh, see, that's why. Okay, hold on a sec. Do you know what this weighs off the top of your hand? If not, I'm putting 3,000 grams.
It is, I know, ounces.
Don't you have a picture of it?
It's 84.7 ounces.
Ooh, I don't think I can do that here.
That's how many grams?
Oh, man.
Not that
Parking
many.
spiders.
That sounded wore out.
87 grams?
84.7
That's what
ounces.
Uh-uh.
Jack in the box.
You usually have that after the show.
I know. Last time I cut it close, they were starting to close it on me.
2401.
Okay, turn it all back on.
Come
Now
on, Gassy.
what this is down here is if I come over here and touch this with the mouse, boom, it opens that up. That's the algorithm of what the sensor is putting out to the computer, or the frequency. Where's the
The trigger?
the gas pedal?
Right
Yeah,
there.
no, I know it's
That's that radio
I know it's not 110 miles an hour, but it's.
Okay, do you want me
You
to
know,
video
here's-
the car, or do you want me to
Go
video...
between.
I can't, well, I
Come
want-
on now.
Stand back. People want to see tires explode.
You're supposed to be the video professional.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Hey, no cussing. It's for kids.
Okay, yeah, you're the biggest one. We know.
So
Okay.
I'm hoping these tires don't blow apart.
Well, neither one.
Yeah, me too.
Like this
Okay. I'm like laying on the table.
I'm gauging it. That's probably about 10 miles an hour right there. That's about what I'm seeing. I just said 170, so it's gotta be up. Whoa, it's gotta be up. But you guys can get the gist of how this works. So Now, granted, what is the mile per hour going to tell me? It's not going to tell me anything for drag racing, and here's why. We race from a dead stop, and what I just said is dead stop, and the dead stop because this doesn't do from a dead stop. You can't really do an accurate run. So the only thing you can really do is set a average time of a drag run, which is about 2.5 seconds, so 2.5, and you get the thing rolling, okay? And the second you hit the throttle, you start the clock for 2.5 seconds, and you lift exactly at 2.5 seconds, and that mile per hour will tell you probably approximately right around close. But that's not what's going to give me the information. What I wanted this thing was for torque curves. If I have a foot-pound of torque once I get this dialed in of 6 foot-pounds, and I'm looking for a little more, and I drop a tooth in it, or I go up a tooth, and I see it go from 5.13 foot-pounds of torque up to 613, then I know I just gained a lot of torque, and there's just a lot of little things about this that won't work for what we're doing and doesn't tell us anything other than it being really cool like mile per hour. But there's other things that really will collaborate with a lot of our other tuning and stuff that we do that will give us just tuning capabilities beyond belief. So thank you to the guys at the KV Kings. This thing is awesome. I have it up and running. It's obviously not dialed in right yet, but it will be soon. We will be offering dyno tuning. The dyno tuning will include a half hour or an hour or whatever of everything I have in the laboratory here in the 707 Street Cars laboratory to make adjustments on your car and get them faster. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. Has anybody got any questions? Emma? What are you doing? No?
I can't wait till that thing's dialed in.
Yeah, it's gonna be badass.
I think we should, like KV Kings was saying, we should have a list, mile per hour list.
That would be cool. But the thing is,
Well, that's just for and giggles, but
you would have in 2 different dynos in 2 different states. You would have to have all the same parameters typed into the exact.
no,
same
just for us,
computer.
707.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool, and I want to do that. We'll have a barbecue here and have burgers and
Chase,
bring the.
you're number 1 right now at almost 200 miles an hour.
But yeah, we can set the dyno up on a table out in my
What time is
driveway.
it on the power wheel?
All the power wheels.
In my driveway, we'll set up the dyno on a table, and we will have a barbecue with some burgers and stuff. But I think we got something else to do right now, and I know there's a lot of guys that are wondering about it.
Let's do it.
Let me shut this thing off.
the wheel
Should be up.
fortune.
We're good, Emma.
Randy.
Here.
I'm gonna pull up. I'm getting away from.
Okay, one of you guys gonna talk?
He's talking. I was just talking. Dan was just talking. You were just talking.
We're actually technically still waiting for the actual prize from Steve Niggery, so these actually are out of my private stock because the same thing he's sending us for the raffle.
Private reserve.
Is so I'm giving away one of my sets in lieu of that because I can just get reimbursed from Steve. So this is what we're giving away tonight. Graciously donated back last week by Dennis Bush. Is an RCRI. What are these? These are about $40.
They are 29
I think
or no
39.
$34.99.
$34.99.
Right now he's running a code. Be safe. If you use that in the coupon checkout, you get 15% off.
Dang it.
And then some Phantom RC Racing product decals. These are really nice decals in blue. So let's.
I got it right here.
How many people we got in there?
179 is what you wrote down, right? I got it. I got the post, everything right here.
Okay, we're gonna generate the result.
Get a little closer.
49.
Number 49.
Number 49 just won the wheelie bars.
Let's see who that
Better
is.
not be you, David.
If it's David,
If it's 707, then I think we should ship them somewhere else. Redraw. We are getting there. 70s, 60s. Someone else probably chimed in already.
because you got to go up and press load
Yeah.
previous comments.
40, 49. John Griffin.
John Griffin.
Number 49.
Yeah, all right. John Griffin won the first ever 707 Street Cars raffle. We will reach out to John Griffin and get his address and send him this this cool swag here and some parts for his car.
Daniel Judd, you are the winner.
Wait, what?
I replied to your comment and said, it said, Daniel Judd, you are the winner.
Well, all right. No. So we'll Steve Griffin.
John Griffin.
Oh, John Griffin. I'm sorry.
PM one of us and give us your address and we'll get them shipped out.
FFIN.
GRIFFIN.
Got it, John Griffin. Winner. Okay. Is there any other questions out there, guys, that you want answered? Like I said, I'm hoping by next week we're going to do this DR10 disassemble. I'm going to take a brand new car that I'm buying from my local hobby shop, and I'm going to tear it apart for you guys. We're going to talk about what's in it, what it's made of. We're going to dissect it like a frog on a piece of wax in science class. So hopefully we can get that in the next week, and we'll get that here on the show for you. I know that there's already been one or two unboxings, and I don't want to just do an unboxing and talk about the car. I want to really look at the car. And I know Randy's like, dude, I get to tear a brand new DR10 apart on your dime? Give me the screwdriver.
I'll have mine sitting on the table just in case you can't figure out how to put yours back
Oh,
together.
did you order one? Okay, good. So yeah,
Maybe this is it right here. This is the predecessor.
That's the OG.
the OG, the
That's
double
what
OG,
was-
triple
that
OG.
This is what there was
Double
before
OG7.
there was a DR10.
Double OG7.
So this is what you're winning from
Anything you want.
John Griffin. This is what you're winning. You're winning the exact bars. They won't have these Traxxas wheelie bars. You'll have to get those. It does come with wheels. It comes with the bearing set, which is okay for really true surface or prepped. But for no prepped a country road or whatever, I would suggest getting some of the Traxxas wheels on it. But you have from wow, guys, you have my personal opinion, the best bars are some of the best bars on the market. So John Griffin, congratulations. We'll be getting a hold of you shortly and sending this stuff out to you as soon as we get an address from you. So what do you think, guys? We're done?
I think so.
Okay. Tune in next Friday night for episode number 11. It will be announced what we're going to be due during the week. And like I said, guys, we're not going to go live from YouTube next week, so scratch that. We will be going live from 707 Streetcars. So next week, to all our followers, please talk it around, talk about it, let everybody know. So anybody that wants to watch or share it or whatever can after we do it or while we're doing it. We don't want to have people going to the Sonoma County NPRC site. Hi, Gabe. If Gabe's out there, I don't know if Gabe's watching. We love you, Gabe. We're going to be transferring it over to the 707 Streetcars Facebook page, and that's where we'll be going live. There will be lots of talk about it, hopefully, and we'll be doing lots of posting about it so that everybody's capable of getting to the show on time. But if nobody else has got it...
KB Kings, we don't need an assembly booklet.
Wait, what?
For the DR10 assembly, it comes with assembly booklet.
Oh, yeah, it comes assembled, so...
Well, I know, but it comes with a booklet so you know what it looks like, I guess, so you can put it back together.
Every time
I never
Dan
used the book
slaps
in my
that
part.
sticker sheet, it depreciates in value.
Nice, up his notepad.
This is my notepad. The sticker sheet's up here, dude.
Oh, you just did it twice.
Get it together, bro. This is a brand new Phantom sticker sheet. I
Pre-cut?
ordered pre-cuts. I ordered a stack of them for myself, and I donated these for the raffle. I got these from Phantom 4 days ago. So these are not, we would never offer something or raffle something off that's something we've had sitting around or whatever.
Unless it was badass.
Unless it was super badass. So, guys, I'd like to say a huge shout out again to Shark RC Bodies. Paul Peterson does a great job. He's getting the stuff done as quick as he can if you've ordered one. If you don't have a Shark RC body, dude, be at the front lines with the people that are getting in these bodies, because I'm telling you, that's what's going to get you a faster car is the Arrow. Big shout out to Troy Schroeder from Phantom RC Products. Big shout out from Milo Carvalho, Flash Packs. What's up, Milo? Steve Negri of RC Racing Innovations, chassis, wheelie bars, and more. Jake Rosen at Jake's Performance Hobbies, along with his crew, Hunter and Tim, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for being my best friends and putting up with me, and thank you, Jamie, and helping me out with stuff. I'm like, hey, dude, I got this, and this done, and I need to get a hold of one of these. I'm at work though. Can I get it for the show? And he'll go pick it up, or he'll go pick it up, or we just make it happen, and we do it for you guys. So, Again, please be courteous with when you guys message us. Remember, if you are in New York or you are in England or wherever you are, you see this show. Remember that we are California Pacific Standard Time. If it's if you do the math or you Google it, what time is it in California, and it says it's 3:34 a.m. Please don't text me. Wait till the morning.
My phone's always on silent, so.
Unfortunately, I use my phone for an alarm clock. So if I turn it off, it turns everything off. So. But other than that, you guys, thanks for following us. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for episode 11, double digits. 1-1.
Deuces.
Deuces.